going live on Instagram.
All right.
Should be good on all.
All right.
That'll be good to go.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can move that up screen out of there. I don't know if. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Although that was kind of. Although that can be. I think that's the Instagram. Well, that was the Instagram.
Yeah, just so you can see that frame.
Yeah, if you can push that down somewhere. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, maybe over to the left. Hi, everybody. Come on in. We're adjusting our screens over here. As usual, making adjustments. That's constant, right? Yeah, so welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A little in between times today. Sometimes we start at 1, sometimes 2, but we're doing 1:30 today. So Matt and I here in the house, and thought I'd just do a little conversation about rectangle forms. Jessica over at ClayShare did live last night about some new templates that she has made that fit the GR pottery forms and other things. So yeah, so a little maybe collaborative kind of setup here today. Yeah, so go over to go over to clayshare.com and check it out. If you're not familiar with Jessica at ClayShare, it's a fun online community for clay, and she's got a lot of classes. If you're new to clay, it's a really good site, really good opportunity for you to learn about clay and join a community people that can help you. So yeah, long time no see. I was here last week for the first time, so hopefully you're going to see me a lot more coming up. And we're getting situated here. It's kind of interesting. We lost. It's just Matt and I pretty much here now here in the house, and Shelby took a really good job, and everybody else kind of left for a different job. So we're kind of in this little team reconstruct here. So yeah, so it's good, and we're looking forward to the fall, and we got a bunch of new things going to be released, new shapes and sizes, and yeah, we can, yeah, it's going to be good. So, lots of conferences. One thing that I definitely want to highlight is, and maybe Matt can put this in the chats or whatever, but the Fired Arts Expo.com is it's happening in Milwaukee, near Milwaukee. I always say Milwaukee because that's easier than Waukesha, but in Wisconsin with Michael Harbridge is kind of leading that event, and I will be there. And it's a nice event for if you want to take classes, hands-on classes. So there's definitely still room for you to sign up for classes, and but I think it's going to be a nice sized group. Jessica actually will be there, and also a bunch of other good people. So if you want to check that out, it's a good place to check that out as well. So yeah, so yeah, love to see you there in person. There you are. Yep. So all right. So let us know if you have any questions about anything coming up. Oh, hello in Wales. I'm hoping to come to Wales in the UK in October. Trying to work that into my schedule. Visit the pot clays, and I'm a distributor there, so maybe I'll see you there. But yeah, so let's get started. If you what Jessica talked about on her rim templates is we are highlighting 4 kind of specific sizes, and so you can go there and check it out. But otherwise, we have a little deal going because of her kind of broadcast for the weekend. Just ends on Sunday. What would it be? The 28th. In case you watch this later on, it ends July 28th at midnight. So So just 20% off these 4 sizes of rectangles, and it's 5x4, which is a great soap dish, great spoon rest size, great for classrooms. So if you're looking for a size to get it, and when you hold it and when you look at it, it seems small, but it's a really ideal size for some of those functional pieces. Then here's a size which is great for butter, dish. It's this one's actually 8 by 3.5, but the one that's available for sale is or on sale is the 8 by 3.5, 8.5 by 3.5. We kind of have kind of both of those, and we kind of fluctuate. So if you have that 8.5 by 3.5, it will fit and stack with the 5 by 10. And I think Jessica even has a class using those 2 sizes on her class selection. So it makes it so you can stack and make kind of a deeper dish. So yeah, and then there's also 5 by 8. So those 4 sizes are very handy, kind of rectangular sizes for making trays and stuff. So I'm just going to spend some time today. I know Jessica has some rim templates, but just talking about also other ways of making those edges. And I know some of you are really interested in a specific decision, and that's what those rim templates will do, is give you a specific shape that you can repeat over and over again, where others may want to have more of a loose kind of format. So I'm just going to talk about that today. And I'm just going to use all 4 of these sizes, and hopefully if you have any questions, you can let me know in the chat feature, in the message feature. And that's here, he can help me if I miss your question. But feel free to ask that again, and it's really helpful to everybody usually when you have those questions. So yes, sushi dishes, nice small trays. These are great sizes if you want to sell to a restaurant or little shops. These are great sizes to make little souvenir kind of dishes, little gifty kind of hosting gift sizes. So yeah. So let's start out with this. I'm just going to call it the 8.5 by 3.5 because that's the one that's available. And I know Jessica's template, it works for both. So, but here, let's see if I have enough clay. I think I do. Yep. Oh. Maybe not. So maybe I'll let's add this. I'll make a smaller one with this piece of clay I have here. Actually, let's just move that off the side for now. Stick with the one I was telling you about. So that is a good point, a good question. Is to I really like to kind of pre-make my slabs for the size of form I'm going to be using, and then that way I don't waste a lot of clay. Because clay scraps, it's not really completely wasting it. It just means I got to spend some time to recycle it, get it back to the same consistency as all the other clays. So yeah. So what I want to do when I'm making slabs is I want to compress the slab in 2 different directions to make sure all those particles are aligned really well. Here's a good question. Patty says, will you be giving a demo at Fired Arts with the WA system? I am struggling to make one work. Yes, Patty. I actually have 3, one each day. It's the dinnerware classes. And we're going to be using the WA system to make dinnerware, and also, it's a 2-hour class, so you can also, we probably should be able to make at least 3 plates, maybe 4, and so it'll be a good time to kind of practice that. I will have wheels there to use a wheel but you can also, if you're not comfortable with a wheel, you can also just do hand building as well. So we're gonna have both of those options. So yeah, so Good question. But yeah, so lots of that's what's kind of nice about doing in person is if you're having difficulties with a certain thing, then I can definitely be there to help you kind of work through all those, figure out where that kind of area that maybe struggling with would be. So, and give you tips and tricks on ways of using those kind of parts, kind of how I have seen them kind of be used. So, yeah, all right. And so I'm a big fan and a believer in draping the clay. I know there's lots of amazing people out there kind of pressing it into foam, but I don't use foam at all in my process. I like to be able to kind of slowly and easily, I like to use wet clay because I think you get a lot better compression, and then I can compress that clay right into the form, or the form into the clay. So I have a lot more control and a lot more control of that compression, and it will hold the shape better. So that's sort of the idea of having these wood forms. One of the ideas is that constant support while it's drying, and two is it helps you to. Another reason is to be able to repeat that process over and over again. So, and I think I'm gonna try 4 different edges here, and because I think some of us, which I totally understand, is like we think if this is going to be the shape, it's going to be to that edge and that edge only. But really, there's so many options so that you can, use. Oh, Betty has a good question. Your clay looks very soft. Do you use a pug mill? I don't. I use it right fresh out of a bag, and I don't use very much clay. I actually have a pug mill here that I might start using, but it needs a little bit of repair. But currently, I'm fortunate enough where I just can use fresh clay and use that as well. So the clay is about 1/4 of an inch is usually where I try to be around, just for an ideal weight. It's mainly about the weight of the finished product. So yes. Next year. Jerry's coming next year to Fire Dares. Yes. Yep. All right. So this is what I want to talk about is like a kind of. This is a really good butter dish size. So so maybe this is kind of corn season. So maybe I want to make a corn dish, and so I could eat. So yeah, let's even. I can just draw out what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to make kind of a corn cob style cut. And then I could decorate it with a texture or kernels, or because you know what, these plates also work really well for putting butter in, and then a little bit of butter and putting each of your individual corn ears in them for serving. So if you want to be fancy, that's okay. Just a little bit more over, yeah.
Just move it over for Instagram. They can't see what you're drawing.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
That over to the left.
Oh, good point. Yeah, we're learning here what you can see on Instagram, and I wouldn't even mind having that image available just down a little bit so we can kind of, see. There, yep.
Okay.
There we go. I think you can see it now, right on Instagram. So I was drawing this corn skewer here. Corn. So this makes a really nice corn dish. And for sure, it's So let's see if we can just leave that right there. So now I'm going to just try to hand cut this, and what you could easily make your own kind of paper cutout template, or you can get somebody to cut it out for you. So many options. And you could get Deb to make a cutter but I think it's really good to, and as you get to trying this, and just be more brave. That's all you really need to do is just be brave, and you can accomplish lots of things. So, and here we go. And while I have this clay here, it's nice that I can even make a foot. Find my foot maker. What is the largest you would make without a foot? Good question, Sue. Does anybody know what my answer is going to be? I think every plate needs to have a foot. That's just my opinion. I am a huge believer in a foot. I think it really helps develop the piece into what it needs to be, and then also it's ideal for everything, glazing, everything. This works out so well. I live in Iowa and use the smaller form to make Iowa shaped dish. Yes, and yeah, and so then you just cut out the shape exactly. Totally. So that's another, totally another thing is to make the state that you're in. Somebody said, what clay is best to use? I like to use a stoneware, mid-range, which is cone 6. It used to be kind of high, but cone 6 is best for functional kind of dishwasher abuse and all that kind of fun stuff. How can we incorporate texture? You can totally incorporate texture all the way through the process. I would probably, the easiest way is when the clay is flat. Maybe the next piece I can make have texture. I like that idea. So maybe you can go to that top camera, Matt, and I'm going to use this foot maker. And basically all this is it basically will cut, it's a corn skewer, back to corn again, and it will help to just cut my clay into a consistent, so now I don't have to measure over here, or if I even wanted to kind of go around the edge of this piece, I can just go around the edge. It gives me a little more clay. So, it's just a way to kind of repeat the cut over and over and over again. So, but yeah, somebody talked about this clay being wet. It is really moist. I really like to use moist clay because it's easier to construct with. But now the problem is that you have to kind of let things set up after that. So, let's see. How you could roll an ear of corn into the clay? Yes, totally. Find the straightest piece you can find. Yeah, totally. Yeah, some people make a mold. Yeah, you can find them out there, like a fake corn cob. Like at a craft store. So yeah, there's totally lots of options for that. But definitely making your own texture too would be really nice way to do it. So now I'm going to, and as I talked about, the clay is really wet, so it's really flexible, so it might make a wiggly line. A little fun pro tip is to just let your, that's good, Matt. I guess I don't need to see those, who's coming. Actually, it's sort of good to see the, who's popping on in case I recognize somebody that's, yeah, because I don't see the, who's on, especially from Instagram. And check to see who's watching. And then some of you, I know it doesn't always pop up if you have a private account, so I might not, if I don't call you out, it's probably this I didn't see you. It's not that I'm ignoring you. And so yeah. And so now what I can do is I can just cut on an angle. The clay's a little wet, so it kind of squishes it, but here's hopefully a more dramatic, maybe from the top there, Matt. Yeah, perfect. There's a little, it's got a little bit of an angle. Where's the best photo here? A little nice angle on that edge. So that creates a nice angle to kind of line up with this outside edge. But then the reverse part, it's the opposite. so then that part can line up with the other edge. And you can see, yeah, you can barely see it on the camera there. There's a little bit overlap, but we can just take that and clean that right out. So it's really simple. And the more you make, the more you practice, and the easier it is. The more simple it is, I guess. So there's really no excuse to not make a foot. So in this non-judgment world we live in, but I judge you based on if you have a foot or not. So I think it's got to have a foot. Let's see, could one potentially make a figure that is 1.5 inches with porcelain and the item not cracking the kiln? Yeah, good one. Porcelain. It's a beast. It's definitely creates some obstacles. So you just gotta overcome those. I'm going to talk about this edge here in a second, but I'll go back to that question too. But yeah, you can make all kinds of shapes, and the nice thing is that it's one piece. So if you're not attaching like an arm or this kind of end of the cob part, it works out way better. So yeah. So now I'm going to take my oh, hi Luann. Take my little Kemper tool here, and I'm going to just press in all these edges of the foot. So you might have seen that I didn't, or noticed that I didn't add scoring or slip. We can get away with that with I was going to say with the forms, because it's a really flat surface. Yeah, your foot looks like it's angled in the proper. Yeah, so that's where it's got this kind of angled edge, which hopefully makes the angle match the angle of the side of the piece, so everything kind of fits together simply. Yeah, porcelain, compress. I don't have the patience to deal with porcelain. It makes beautiful things, but you have to spend a lot of time with porcelain for it to be your friend. Yeah. So yeah, we covered that. Is there a proper way? Angled. I don't. Yeah, no, I think it's yeah. I don't know if there's more to that question that I might have already answered, but I think it's I sort of addressed that a little bit. So now I can lift this up, and maybe that's what you're talking about, but I can come around and I can just clean up those edges. You can see that. Sometimes there's a little bit of marks I gotta kind of see from all angles, but right here too, make sure that seam. The clay is so moist that it just kind of blends together. Back to that porcelain, I think it looks the stoneware. I like to use stoneware too, because I can just leave it out, and so then within 4 to 6 hours of me monitoring it, it's set up and ready to be decorated or finished up. So really, I could even, a lot of times, in some cases, fire it the next day if everything works out right. And I'm so looking forward to the expo in a couple weeks. I guess I should apologize, but you will have to put up with me for 2 classes. All right, yay, laugh. Well, that'll be good. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun expo. I'm teaching 5 classes, so you'll probably be with Luann too. She's a veteran to the expo, so she ask her questions if you have any questions about the expo. But it's a really comfortable Midwest area. There's lots of hotels within 30 minutes. It's an easy drive to get there, and yeah, I highly recommend it. Oh yeah, Sherry doesn't have the patience either. Yeah, you're right. And it's a little more expensive, and so this requires a little more attention that I always can't give it. But you saw that I put a spacer. This one is a 1/2 inch one. I put a 1/4 inch one underneath there. So now I can, I'll show you that here. I put it underneath the form there, so it lifted up the form just a little bit. So now I can give just a little slight angle to that outside edge. Yep. Yeah, and so this one was kind of an experiment for this dish, this little corn dish. But yeah, I can now make some other changes. Like maybe I would add texture into the cob already, or into the space. One thing I think it's interesting though with texture, especially functionally for food, is it may look really cool, but it may be really difficult for it to function well. Like so that's always the question with functional pottery, right? Is what trumps the thing of function or aesthetic? And so maybe you just want to give the indication of that corn kernels on the outside, and because we have that form in there, we can press it in there. So it's really easy, not easy, really easy. I shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna pull this up here. So this kind of fun way to simple the end of a eraser makes some texture, and obviously if you have a roller, it will go way faster. So this kind of depends on what you need, what you have available. Yep. So I'm just going to add these little dots on here. Deb Dela Cruz, hello. 130. Oh no. You are a glutton for punishment. You are the best. Sounds like a lot of corn processing in your future. But make those the rest of the 11 months without fresh corn really nice to have frozen corn, huh? Yeah, I love it. I'm assuming when we're in Wisconsin, there'll still hopefully be some fresh corn available around there. And I should look this up because I keep talking myself into doing it, but I'm quite sure that the Wisconsin State Fair is happening while we're there, and there'll be lots of corn there. Roasted corn. Yeah. Oh, we do it every year. Nice, yeah. That's so nice, right? I can't convince Gretchen. I don't know. Hopefully Gretchen's not listening. Gretchen's not a fan of frozen corn. So I haven't had a hard time convincing her that we should freeze corn every year, but because it's nice and available around here. But yeah, and plus, especially since my mom does it, so that's not always the motivating factor for Gretchen. If my mom does it, that's just to compete. So hopefully my mom's not listening either. You guys know the pain. You guys know. I can't think of a woman's name, but she makes those plastic cookie cutters. Yeah, that woman's name is just what we're talking about, Debbie Dela Cruz. Yeah. Debbie, do you have a corn cutter? A corn, yeah, in your lineup? Maybe that's a 2025 special cutter, corn cutter. You probably already do though, knowing you. So yeah, cutter for clay. But yeah, there we go. So let's move on, Jeff. Let's go to another one. So that out of the screen there, so you can see how you know what we're doing here. Let's make a smaller slab now. Yes, Betsy. Yep. And Debbie. Oh yeah, that's true. Right. I thought so. I remember Debbie is saying that it actually looks like the shape of a butter dish bottom. So not sure if the sizes work, but I bet so. Because but anyway, yeah. So I thought I remembered that you had something that would work. All right, so let's put this down here. I already compressed the slab. Oh, let's do something fun here. We talked about compressed texture. Somebody asked a question about texture. And a really nice way to put texture on is to take the form and oops, we'll go back and forth. Let's stop with the front one here first. You see how it made the impression of the form? So now, if we were, let's find a little roller here. If we wanted to add some texture, we could do this at the end here. I saw Bill from a Live Guy. I know a lot of you guys follow him. He makes some fun videos, functional clay. But he had this really nice one here too. But maybe we want to add a strip of texture to it here. And then I know where I can add that texture. So theoretically, that texture is going to end up on the edge of the form here. So yeah. So now what I can do is take this form and just reline it back up to that space that was in there. So that's a super easy way to center the form on there. Does that make sense? I think Bill even calls it this too, but I don't know if I forget now. The old flipperoonie, right? So take our two boards and do a little flip. Wah! Oh wait, this isn't the wah. So now I can just take my slab, and I like to gently kind of move that clay towards the form, especially if you have texture on there so it doesn't distort the clay or distort that texture. This could be interesting because it could have a little bit of a kind of a little effect to it, but that's what you learn, and you change that based on your result of this one, right? If you need to. So just be aware, just be kind of constantly watching what's happening, how you should react, if you like it, if you don't like it, and then keep kind of working through those kind of reactions. So again, now I have it formed here. Oh yeah, Luann says Bill who? Bill from a live guy pottery, I think, right? I think maybe he might just be on Instagram. I don't know if he's on Facebook. I would assume he is, but he's just a clay maker that loves making texture videos with texture and different projects he's working on. And he just made this silicone. Oh, I don't know if you're. I thought maybe saw. I'm sorry, I forgot your name from the pottery toolkit, but making some stuff out of silicone. I was like, oh, this might be a good thing for you to make since you're in the silicone world now. But yeah, these texture mats to make plates, right? I guarantee I've been hoping to make stuff for that for a long time. Sometime, there's a whole list of projects, right? But something about having texture about having texture on that lip of your plate or your platters. Makes it really nice. Oh yeah, good. Somebody put up his Instagram handle on Instagram. Mickey's Frame Shop. Thank you, Mickey. I bought a pair of those boards when I was in Georgie's. How susceptible to warping are they? They are. Good question, Betsy. They are very fragile. It's a very thin board, and these especially, you can even see on this one, it's got a little fuzziness. So if you leave wet clay on there for too long, it kind of gets textured. But I think it works very similarly to a drywall board. Yeah, they're a nice weight, exactly, and that's kind of, I think, my main hope is that they're really good for functionally to move clay around and do the flipping. So you almost need two of them, but they're not good. You definitely don't want to wedge on them. You don't want to like leave slabs on there to dry overnight, because it'll start to kind of, because it's so thin and fragile, it can also move too. But I think they're definitely, their benefits outweigh their negatives. But you just have to take care of them really well, just like you would take care of the drywall boards. So, all right. So this time, let's see which. I think I'm going to cut right on the edge of this piece here. So what I want to do is cut. And I want to be conscious of how my angle of my knife is. So on the video here, you want that, see if I can replicate that.
Switch to the front.
Yeah, maybe switch to the front. Yeah, there you go. Good. I think that'll be good. But if you see, I want that knife to really be perpendicular to the edge of that form. So, you know, if it was this flat edge, I would want to make sure that it stays pretty vertical. So it's perpendicular, so it has an angle. So because this angle is 45-degree angles, I want my my tool to be at 45-degree angle, right? And the reason we do that is because then it'll maintain a certain thickness of that edge along the edge of your piece. So and you really don't, which is hard because this is what seems to make sense, is that you really, some people think they want to cut like right on this edge, but what can happen is, of the form, you can get these like thick and thin spots, or especially the end of the corner, it gets really inconsistent. What's going on here? Isn't that funny? Yeah, so that you can, and I'm going to show you a new technique here in a minute with the next size. So this is version 2 is cutting up on the form with a perpendicular angle of your knife. No, you don't have to do Instagram. Why do you say that, Luann? Luann says, I guess she's going to have to do Instagram. Yeah, no, so. Alright, so. I'm going to still make a foot here. I just talked about every piece needs to have a foot. I'm going to tell you to do it. I better do it myself, right? And so I'm just cutting up some strips here and just trying to use the clay that I have available. I think it's really important that if you can, not really important, I think it's a big benefit if you can use the same clay that you're using for the body of the piece to make the attachments. It really helps with drying so that it's all consistent, the same moisture content in the clay. And I know, like, I was watching Jessica's video last night. She loves to use a sponge. I try to avoid using the sponge if I can because, and she's using she does her process is slightly different, right? She's using B-mix, like a lower, a smaller particle clay body, so it needs a little different attention. And she's also being really patient on how it dries and sets up, where I am not patient. So using a sponge really kind of affects my kind of fast process. So, food for thought. You know, that's the fun thing about clay is and sometimes maybe intimidating to some of you new people, but just know that there's so many ways, and you have to like gather enough information from all these people to say which technique works best for me, and the process of my timing and all of that. Because there's really, it's like baking. Some people don't like to hear that, but it's true. It's so much like baking. But don't think if you're bad at baking that you're going to be bad at clay. I think that's why people don't like to hear that. But your clay is much more personal, I think, than cooking, where right away you can do all this experimenting before you serve your neighbors a plate of cookies, right? Or before you serve your plate of cookies on a plate you made. So, yeah, have fun with it. Don't fret. And the more you focus on who you are, the more your your neighbors will like that, because they don't want to see who you want to be. They want to see who you are. Ooh, deep thoughts by Jeff in the studio today. Yes. Happy neighbors are happy living, right? All right, so here's this a little tray. And again, I don't spend too much time, and that's even why I don't really want to use the sponges, because I want to come back there and come back here and adjust these edges. Because see, they're not quite, maybe if you go on that top screen mat there, top camera, you can kind of see how the edge isn't quite straight. And maybe there's more form showing than on this side. I can line all those things up. The other part is I don't know exactly where that texture is. So I want to line up this edge with the texture that's underneath there. So I have to wait till the piece is set up to then be able to kind of adjust that. Make sense? All right. Hello, Kathleen from Iowa. Thanks for joining. Do you have red stains? I think you're referring to like mason stains. I don't know what you mean by that, but Julius. But we'll get a cut. More of a Kathleen, I will be having some wear boards there for use and for purchase, and I will be at the end of those who are coming to the expo. I will be selling some of the tools for very discounted prices that we're gonna use during the. I'm bringing some potter's wheels, so they're just the Artistas, so there will be a slight discount on those for people that want to bring them home if they've driven. It's a good way to kind of save shipping cost, and then get a little deal because we used them for 2 or 3 hours. And I will have a bunch of all the tools I'm going to bring are going to be for sale at the end. So we're going to be fresh, brand new tools for you to use, forms, and then you can almost buy them if you want at a little bit discounted rate. So yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be fun. Catching you from Jasper, Indiana. All right. Oh, good. You must be on the road. Thanks for joining. All right. So this one I'm going to use the 5x8. And this one I'm going to cut pretty close. Just try to have enough clay here for it to be used. And I don't think I'm going to actually have time here today for the 5x10, but you'll get the idea. I do have a slab here, but I think it'll probably end before that's over. So this time I'm going to make a textured tray, so maybe this will be for use in a bathroom or something with soap. Ooh, I don't know if I know this is a Jessica roller. I don't know if she still has this one available, but it's a nice one. So I'm just gonna talk about texture. So this might make a really lovely bathroom to put soap on, or little trinkets in your bathroom. We'll say something to put on your counter. So now I can just use my form here and set that right to the edge there again. Yep. My clay is a little bit angled, but that's okay. I want to set the form for it to be lined up. And do a little flip. Now again, this clay has been sitting here for a little bit, so it's starting to set up a little bit. So hopefully it's big enough. Looks just right, maybe. So again, I want, especially as it stiffens up, is to really kind of be consistent about. Ooh, there may be a little spot. I'm just going to add some clay in there to make sure I have enough clay. So push the clay towards it first and then push down. Don't push down first. That'll help you not stretch out or make the clay uneven as you're making. Betty says, do I ever do it? Oh yeah, I'm all over the place. The Maine South one is Alabama Clay Conference. That usually happens like the third week of February. But if you're talking about Southwest, yeah, Arizona, Tucson, Phoenix, there's there. But yeah, usually if there's a big distributor there, close to where you are, I definitely go to visit the distributor. So Louisiana, Creative Craft there in Baton Rouge. Yeah, what size of boards come in? Good question. It's about to mention that, and then I skipped it, but so thanks for bringing it up. We just have two board sizes. The one is 12x10, so this is nice for small projects, and then the bigger one is 20x16, and so that one is yeah, Betty's in Mississippi. Okay, yeah, so maybe the Alabama Clay Conference usually kind of comes close to Mississippi quite often. Probably your best bet. Yeah, so just the two sizes, and I think it's the reason I made them was because I needed the least amount of distractions as possible, and so having multiple sizes of boards in the studio always drove me crazy. So I wanted to make sure that I have just a couple of sizes that work really well for almost everything. And also the other factor is shipping. So we really can't really get much bigger than the 20 by 16 either. So, thank you, Kathleen. Yep. So I'm just going to trim away some clay here. I'm going to show you one other way you can deal with the edge. And I think this one, I've seen a lot of people do it really nicely, and I've never been that great at it, so we'll see how it goes. So see, you got to find the technique that works best for you. So I'm just going to lift this off, and it doesn't really matter too much as far as me messing with the edge, because I'm just going to clean that edge off. So this is what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire tool. Oops. Uh-oh, I said whoops. So this little thing has a little tension screw here. Make sure it's got good tension. Every while somehow it loosens up and eliminates that tension. So here we go. And so now what I can do is I can take my little wire here and I can just cut through the clay. And again, the angle is really important. That I'm kind of lining it up with that edge. So you can see on this side, maybe the top will show. The edge is a little bit uneven, where this edge is really nice. And see how it's got that nice flat edge, which is the thickness of your clay. So that's what I'm kind of going for. But even in this method of cutting, I'm still going to come back and alter it so it's consistent. So I just want it to be kind of the general cut and the general purpose of this clay. I'm using this slingshot tool from Dirty Girls. I know a lot of you have it already. It makes a really nice cutting tool because it doesn't have any drag. Yeah, see there, Betty, you're 3.5 hours from it. Yeah, it's worth driving to. It's a fun kind of three days or so. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know if they have the website is, yeah, that's it, Matt. Yeah, they just switched. You have to find the Alabama Clay Conference through it's like an acronym, ALBIS. It's like a visual arts thing for Birmingham, or I mean for Alabama. So they have other stuff as well. Yep. So that's a fun one. Yeah, usually in February, exactly. It rotates around Alabama all the time, so every year. Hello, I met you in California. Good to see you again. But there we go. So grab my 3 ways. So the thing is there's so many options. Ooh, I don't have a. Uh-oh. I'm backtracking here. These are, we actually have these at home without a foot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm going to get myself in trouble. So yeah, but you can see this is a variety of ways you can address that edge. So don't feel like you are, that there's one way, one specific way. If you want somebody else to help you decide what that edge is going to look like, there's lots of people like Jessica out there that are helping you decide what those edges are going to be. But it's also kind of fun to just kind of create your own organic edge. A lot of people try to, there's a couple competitors now, and thankfully they haven't existed for the whole time I've existed, so they're new, but they have some organic type shapes, and I keep telling people I'm not going to make those shapes because you can make the edge as organic as you want it to be. So we just need a little bit of a form to kind of confine the general shape and to repeat it over and over again. So. Oh, good. You just went to Kentucky Mudworks from Indianapolis, so yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, so greetings from Arizona. Hello, hello. Myra, my good friend. You'll have to, yeah, we'll have to contact me like at the end of the year. We gotta make a, hopefully I'm gonna come again to Marjan. They changed the date, so I hope it's not going to overlap with Alabama Clay Conference, but we'll have to do a studio demo at your place. So, yeah. So, well, anyway, good to see all of you. Oh, Debbie says hi too. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of nice to have you guys in the community. Jessica does an amazing job, so make sure to support her when you can by becoming a ClayShare member. She's got a fun little promo going on, and yeah, so they're making some fun little products over there at ClayShare too, like rolling pins. Debbie's amazing too, so she's got great things. Check her out. You can see her in the, if you're on Instagram, Debbie Dela Cruz, and that'll take you into her site as well. So I'll miss you too. I miss those Arizona burritos too, those breakfast burritos. So hopefully that'll come soon. But yeah, if you can make it to Wisconsin, any of you out there, it's gonna be well worth it. It's a little, it adds up in cost. So I definitely understand it if you're in a budget situation. It adds up, but it definitely will the lifetime experience worth it. So sign up, go check it out, and hopefully I'll see you there. All right, any last questions out there? Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up this time for today. And as I said, there's 4 sizes. If you go onto the website and you click the ClayShare tab, they'll list those 4 sizes. And those 4 sizes have an automatic discount of 20% off. So you'll see that in your when you get to the end. So a lot of you, they're pretty common sizes, so most of you probably already have them already, but yeah, there's lots of different ways to go. So you love her salad bowls. All right. Yes. So yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for being here, and till next time, we will see you. Bye now.